Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Online Smicha. I read of a shaila that was asked by Rav Shmuel Vosner, and an interesting discussion, an interesting psak din. I feel I would like to share it with you. There was Nebuch, an individual that went through Nebuch a heart transplant, and it was successful for a couple of years. Then after 6 or 7 years with that heart, they felt that it wasn't working. They had to give him a new heart transplant. And he, Baruch Hashem, they found him a new one, and it was fine. And the question that was asked by Reb Shmuel Vosner, that heart, the transplanted heart that they had in his guf for 6 to 8 years, does that have to be buried? Or because it wasn't part of his body from creation, this is something that came, it was somebody else's that was put into his body, maybe it doesn't have to be buried. Believe it or not, the response that Shmuel Vosner said is based on the Gemara in Nazir. The Gemara in Nazir tells us about the Nazir when he becomes Tameh, how does he lose his Nazirus. So Tumah, the Gemara says if he touches anything any flesh, bone that has flesh to it, has Tumah. And if it's from a dead body, then the Nazir is Tameh. That's what the Gemara goes on. So Rav Shmuel Vosner is mechadash an interesting chiddush. He says the reason why body limbs, body bones have to be buried from a live person is not necessarily because everything has to be buried. It's because of tumah. When these items, these limbs are in an open place, a kohen walking over it, a kohen touching it, will become tameh, and we're not allowed to do so. So we bury them so it should be in a place where it's noticeable that a kohen should not walk. It has nothing to do to the fact that it's from a living person. And therefore, says Reb Shmuel Vosner, this transplanted heart, because it wasn't his, and based on this Gemara, there's no tumah on the heart, you wouldn't have to bury this heart. Now, obviously, if somebody feels guilty, somebody wants to do it, it's fine. But if you're asking him, it's on the dry letter of the law. If this heart has to be buried, al pi halacha, he paskin, you don't have to.